Hi friends, Molly Ponfidith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. This year, our goal is to interview 1,000 community builders and champions of change. And today I'm delighted to bring to you Brian Kelly. Brian, thank you so much for being a part of our global initiative.
Molly, thanks so much for having me.
I'm really delighted to feature you. You've been in my life for several years now, and although we don't see each other very often, you're always present, and you've been an instrumental part of this journey of Nebula because you've been nominating so many incredible souls, and today I want to feature you. So can you please begin by sharing with our audience who you are and the work that you're currently doing in the world?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So I'm Brian Kelly. I'm president of Brian Kelly Leadership Coaching, and I provide human development and performance services to individuals and teams so they can create better relationships and results.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been certified coach for 6 years now, and doing coaching and professional development was a journey that took me a while to get to, but it's really who I am in terms of how I be and how I want to contribute and serve in this world.
That's fantastic. So when in your life have you experienced additional, extra, above the normal love, compassion, empathy, or any type of stories that you can share that have inspired you to be the person that you are, shifted your way of thinking?
So I go back to earlier in my career. We were in this model, the service of excellence model, service excellence model, or community of service model, I guess it was called. And there was this business area that was having trouble with their IT team. And so my manager, who's assigned to assign resources to work on different projects, was adamant about putting me on a project with this shall we say, challenging business area. And she wouldn't take no for an answer. Her boss was a little concerned about maybe being too junior. And she said, no, he's going. And that was a memorable time because someone believed in me so adamantly that I could feel it. And so as it happens, I go over there, I interview with the IT manager there that wants to just kind of connect with me and make, it's part of the process to have an interview with him. He asked, it's a systems analyst role. So he asked me, what do I think a systems analyst, the most important thing about what a systems analyst does? And I said, it's relationship building, which happens to be part of my strengths skill set. And I talked to him about some other things. I end up getting chosen for the role. I go in with like a fresh slate. I don't know what went on before, and to some extent, I don't really care. I want to know how I can help, how I can serve, and how I can help first move the project forward and then build a relationship. So we went on, we had success with the project, we had success with building a relationship. And so that set me on a path in the IT space to go into a project manager role and to serve on some high-level projects, and that was good from that perspective. What I also did, and what it led me to, was this internal volunteer organization geared towards people earlier in their career and giving them volunteer leadership opportunities to build skill sets they didn't get a chance to do in their job. And so I ended up helping to lead that organization for a couple of years. And so that led me to another of sort of my pivot heroes on my journey, as I helped establish a mentoring program during my time in leading rising leaders. And as I happened to look at the potential mentors, I noticed a person in HR who led a small internal coaching team and who had been a certified coach. I'm like, well, there's my mentor. I'm going to use the opportunity as the sort of the lead of this to choose this person unseen. I had not met him before, but I just wanted to explore that possibility and see where it went. That led me to my mentoring sessions with Brian, who's since become a really good friend, Brian Gutman. And he's encouraging me after a couple of sessions of talking to me about not just rising leaders and what we're doing there, but what I want to do, who I am. And he says, dude, you got to go to Georgetown to their leadership coaching program. And so he's encouraging me to go there. I go to Georgetown's leadership coaching program. I apply for it, I get in, and I start my journey there. but Brian and 4 other folks at my employer had been through the program, and they're giving me sort of advice on how to approach it to get the most out of it. And I remember, because one of them was being that you're going to have to be vulnerable, and as you're going through coaching, you're going to have to share, real issues that you're going to coach each other on, because that's part of the practical learning experience. And so I go in because at this point, I'm going to control whether I want to be vulnerable or not. No one's going to tell me that I'm going to be vulnerable. I have to be in control, right? And so I go through this process and evolution. I do that and navigate through it. We get to a point about, say, 85% through the program, right between the 5th series of classes and the final set of classes, where I have to make a choice. I have to make a choice between whether I want to be a coach or whether I don't, because I'm showing up in a way that's not serving well, in terms of I'm too much into my story and overusing the strength of wanting to help people and not being curious, not being kind of mindful in terms of how I engage in dancing in the moment, because I'm wanting too much to help, and it's getting in the way. And so I had to ask myself, what is it that's getting in the way? And so after some deep reflection and a little bit of serious deep reflection, I came to a realization that it was vulnerability, and my relationship with vulnerability. And what happened in that time frame before the last set of classes is I reframed my relationship with vulnerability from weakness, which is what I had come to believe vulnerability to be, to it's humanity. It's how we connect with one another. And that freed me up. It freed me up to be me. And I started showing up that way. And so the story I tell is, when I go into the classes, my classmates haven't seen me between the last time they saw me in the 5th series of classes and the final series. I go up the elevator, get off the elevator. There's about 100 feet between the elevator and the classroom, and 2 different classmates stop me, and they say the exact same thing. They say, "You look lighter." And they weren't talking about my weight. They could see the physical change in my body that had happened because of that. And so this story, the connection, kind of one thing led to another, led to me going to Georgetown and reframing vulnerability. And that changed everything for me personally and professionally in terms of how I showed up. And I, maybe for the first time consistently, because I'd seen pockets of it throughout my life, could truly be myself and embrace that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I think it needs to be heard. I think this is where we all have come to in this time in terms of our humanity, connecting and feeling like you're so alone in the world is very dangerous, not only for ourselves, our physical well-being, but also for society. I think isolation and feeling like nobody sees me, nobody hears me, nobody understands, could possibly understand what I'm going through. And it takes sometimes, at least it was in my case, other people being vulnerable to tell me that it was okay, especially when you grow up being taught, or maybe, owning the responsibility and making it so that you're not supposed to be vulnerable. You have to be the strong one. You have to make things work. You have to. So I totally get it. And I have to say that I'm very blessed to have met you at a time when vulnerability was already a part of your way of being. And because, from the moment that I met you, you could feel that. You could feel this loving soul who wants so much to share. And it comes through because you're able to also come from a place where that's really true now, versus using that as a mask to not have anybody see inside. I say that because I totally resonate with what you're saying. I've been there.
It's so funny you say that, Molly, because the people that meet me now, I tell them about the old me, and they're like, no way. They can't believe it. And it's like, that's the story, right? And I embrace it to some extent because it got me to where I am now. It's part of my story. And now my story, I choose differently. I choose to see vulnerability differently. I choose to embrace who I am and to bring the best parts of me to serve others. And that's the journey we're on.
Well, This is what this interview series is all about. How are we using our stories, our experiences to serve others? So as you work in this leadership space and you meet with so many cool, fun, amazing people,
Mhm.
uh, the change agents and community builders that have come into your life, what are they like? What are some of the attributes that are consistent?
So the ones I see most consistently are visionary. They have a vision of something better, a destination that's going to be better for communities of people, for others. They have the ability to inspire through their authentic way of being and their passion around a better future. They have steadfastness and persistence in driving towards creation of that future desired way of being. Um, and they're open at the same time to not having to do it all themselves and invite others in. So it's interdependence and the willingness to kind of stay true to the vision, but at the same time, sort of adjust the sails as new ideas and new ways of strategically getting there might come about during the journey.
Brian, what causes do you care about, and how are you helping to move those causes or movements or initiatives forward?
So currently, I'm working with Overcoming Odds, which is a community of adoptees and foster care folks who, and the Overcoming Odds is providing a platform for them to connect. It's an education platform, and it's a service platform to give them resources to improve their life in different ways. And so I connected to Oleg, who you've had on your this series, and he's awesome.
Oleg.
And so Oleg has a platform right now, a website platform where he has folks share their stories. So it's an ability to get their voice out there. And that's awesome. He has a podcast, which I was on earlier this week, that again, it's another platform for people to share their voices and their stories. And he has events. And so I'm working with him as a sort of a strategic consultant on how to elevate and level up his business, because that's a goal of his. And so we've been working on ways he could do that. So how might he create community and provide resources to help people that might be sort of 24/7 online, like courses or video series, a video library. So it's not just event, podcast, but there's a suite of offerings that people can access based on what their needs are and the topics that we talk about at the events or on his podcasts. There can be resources to build those skill sets. My interview recently was on belonging, right? And there's different, it could be confidence. There's different human skill sets that people are looking to build. Well, how can we help them do that and have it not just be on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis when we have this event, but have it be a platform that's accessible when they need it? And so that's aspirational. Over the next year, we'll be working towards that, but that's one thing we're doing. Another community I've been a part of for the last, 3 or 4 years is People Acuity, formerly Strength Strategy. And so what they've done is build a set of tools and a framework for people to better understand themselves and others through their strengths. And what we do as coaches through that framework is to unlock the strengths of the world. So in terms of what People Acuity has done, they've got coaches certified, hundreds of coaches across 30 different countries. And this is in like 3 or 4 years. And I've been a part of the process of certifying the coaches. I do supervision calls. I do the exams to certify them. I've been a faculty coach. And then I've been a sort of de facto community builder, just trying to bring people together through strategic interdependence, which is a concept that was created by People Acuity in terms of, hey, I know what I am, I know what I'm not, and we're both okay. And how do we work better together, appreciating what we bring and what everybody brings, so that we don't have to worry about what we're not. We can focus on what we're good at, what we're strong at, and appreciate that in others. And together, it's sort of like a 1 + 1 is 11 kind of equation. I've got a couple others. I want to be mindful of time, though.
That's fine. No, well, you're going to send us the link. You already did send us the link
Yep.
of the communities and causes that matter to you. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll list them. Okay. This is one of my favorites. When times are tough and things are rough, it's not always easy when you get up in the morning to keep moving forward, to move into the next project, or to go to the client meeting, or what have you. Is there a motto, philosophy, or a quote, something that helps to reset you, something that helps to empower you and move you forward?
There are several. The one I'll choose is from Maya Angelou. She said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And that's really important to me, because it's sort of the work I do, and it's motivating, because no matter what state of mind I'm in, if I'm having a tough day, it brings me back to gratitude for the opportunity to do this. And my role is to help people see differently, to see joy, to see opportunity, to see new possibilities. And that can be difficult depending upon where you are in terms of the lens you're looking through. And so the word hope comes to mind when I think of that particular quote, and it happens to be one of my values too. So that's the one that I would share with the folks today.
Every time I hear that quote, I think of connection. I think of exchange, energy exchange, love exchange, right?
Yep.
It's one of my favorite quotes, so I'm glad that you brought that one up. So Brian, when you think of a better world and a better community, what does it look like through your eyes?
It's interconnected. It's interdependent. It's loving. It's caring. It's one where we see both our common shared humanity, and we truly appreciate the difference and don't fear difference, but we jump into curiosity and wanting to learn about difference and how that can enrich our lives, rather than trying to stay in the known and the comfortable, and going outside taking ourselves outside our growth zone, so that we could expand our view of the world, our view of people, and increase the ability for us to make a true impact in our world.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Molly.
Thank you so much for being who you are. I really appreciate you, Brian. Please let us know how we can support you in your journey as well, because I know that you have a lot that you want to do to create positive change in this world, and we're here for you. So is there anything else you'd like to share? Any last words of wisdom before I have you share with our audience how to connect with you?
I'm just really excited now about the journey that we're on together with Humans First. It gets to a lot of what I've talked about here today in terms of trying to create more human workplaces, more human communities, and more human societies. And it gets to the core of who I am. So I'm really excited to be on this journey, and also have friends like you that are on it with me. It makes it so much more rich of a journey to have friends on there with you, and meeting new friends and as part of that process too, which has also been amazing.
That's fantastic. Well, we have to also give a shout out to Humans First Club as well.
That's right.
Mike.
Our buddy Mike, yeah, he's awesome.
All the amazing Global Humans First Club members, now we'll call them members, because that's really what it feels like, right? We're part of it.
Right. Teammates.
And teammates. Yeah, I like that much better, actually, teammates. So how can our audience connect with you, Brian, learn more about you and the causes you care about?
The best way would be my website, briankellyleadershipcoaching.com, or via LinkedIn, or the various social media. I've got accounts on all the major social media. Generally, briankellyleadershipcoaching.com. I think Instagram is bold5bu. It's kind of the foundation of my story.
That's fantastic. We'll list all that as well. Again, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a part of our Nebula Change Agent interview series.
Thank you so much, Molly.
Thank you. For those that are watching, please remember, nominate yourself or anyone in your community who is making a positive impact in your life and the lives of others. Please visit nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you very soon.